Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone. Okay, before we get into today's video, I might as well do it at the very start of the video and let you know that the Doctor Who William Hartnell story that we've decided to do is the Web Planet. I've looked at the list and we've nearly went through all our Hartnells. But because we had done the watch-alongs, way back, I think we're nearly in 2 years into them. Nearly, actually. I mean, no, we're over a year anyway. But we're running out of Hartnell, so we might have to repeat Hartnell again. So we've probably already done the Web Planet, over a year ago. So we're going to do William Hartnell's The Web Planet. We were thinking of the 10th planet, but we'd only did that a while back, so we decided to go with the Web Planet. Right, let's get into this John Barrowman situation, because it's getting absolutely ridiculous now. No, I was watching a YouTuber earlier on, watching a couple of their videos, a few of their videos actually, and they made some great points that I actually agree with and have said on my channel. The thing that bothers me is, as someone has rightly pointed out, we've all rightly pointed out, is that the Noel Clarke and the John Barrowman situations are completely different, right? Why are they completely different? Well, on one side, you have a man that over 20 women has come forward and, come out with alleged allegations against this man. On the other side, we have John Barrowman, who the cast have openly joked about the things that he used to do on set. Okay? Now, the point that I've always made, and this YouTuber made as well, none of his cast members that were working with him have ever had a problem with him. They've never said it was anything sinister. They've all laughed it off and said it was a bit of a joke. Yes, it was inappropriate behavior, but he was reprimanded in 2008. Right? And now 16 years later, there's people out there actively trying to cancel this man. And it looks like they might have actually succeeded, because as fans know, he was going to be part of Time Fracture, Doctor Who's Time Fracture. I think it's an interactive thing, and Torchwood was going to feature, which meant Captain Jack was going to feature. But because of all the latest controversy, see, this is what I don't get either, right? Noel Clarke is accused of doing something, and then all of a sudden, poor John Barrowman is dragged into it because fans out there actively went and start looking for clips, right, where he was talking about John Barrowman doing stuff to try and make it and say, look, this is the way Noel Clarke thinks. Look at how sinister he is and all of this, by talking about John Barrowman. Therefore, then John Barrowman became was part of the spotlight again over this. Now, 16 years ago, he apologized, right? After he was reprimanded. He apologized again only recently. And now we've got this rubbish. What's happening with Captain Jack Harkness and Torchwood in the show? Immersive Everywhere have taken the decision to remove this pre-record from Doctor Who Time Fracture. We will not continue. We will continue to include content that pays tribute to this brilliant show that is Torchwood, so as not to disappoint its fans. And we are working on an excitement storyline to be announced soon. So I don't get it, right? He's apologized. His cast mates haven't had a problem with it. He was reprimanded in 2008, and as far as I know, he hasn't done it again on the BBC premises. Now, someone has rightly pointed out and said that there's some incidents on the Arrow set, but that's a Sky One issue. That's their Sky. That's their responsibility. It's up to them. If his cast members on that side did feel whatever, that's up to them. But I'm talking about in Doctor Who, right? None of these cast members that worked with him said anything bad about him, didn't report him. So why is there people out there actively trying to cancel the man? I don't get it. Now he's being removed from Time Fracture. What else is he going to be removed from? There's already calls for him to be removed from Dancing on Ice. We've seen that, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. This man has apologized twice. His cast members have no problem with him. And listen, I think people are actually forgetting that only recently there has been talks of a Torchwood reboot or a revival. Yeah. Now that wouldn't be happening if none of these past castmates, because we're supposed to be bringing all them back, right? So if they're all disgusted by John Barrowman, right? And I don't buy this as some people have said, well, money talks. No. If they genuinely felt uncomfortable working with a man, trust me, no amount of money would make you work with someone like that. Right? You wouldn't. It'd go against your principles. It would. If you had a problem with what he did, you wouldn't work with him. Right? But these people were willing to work with him again and have worked with him on audios and stuff. We recently had Garrett Lloyd come out and support him. One of his castmates, the guy that plays Yanto Jones, recently came out and supported him. John Barrowman does not deserve this because of another individual who's a separate case altogether. I don't know how he was roped into it. Yes, nobody is denying for 1 second that John Barrowman's behavior was inappropriate. It was, right? But the fact of the matter is, and these are the facts, none of his cast members had a problem with it. They went to conventions and openly joked about it. They actually did a song where one of the lines, they joke about it. Right? Now, I did find that in bad taste. It's the work environment that he's in. I don't think he should have been doing it. But the fact of the matter is, where I'm okay with it is the fact that he was reprimanded. He didn't do it again. And none of his cast members have ever had a problem with it and have openly joked about it. Just because there's another person, another man in the fandom that may have done stuff to 20 women out there doesn't mean that John Barrowman should be roped in or talked about on the same kind of level about it, because the John Barrowman situation is completely different to the Noel Clarke stuff that's coming out, alleged stuff. So we have to be. I don't look. I've seen it myself out there. People trying to cancel Barrowman, right? And then they talk about that they're not for cancel culture. Your post says something different. At the end of the day, John Barrowman doesn't deserve any of this. He was reprimanded. His castmates, as I said, none of them have had a problem with it. So why are there people out there outraged? If the people that were working with him aren't outraged, then why are you outraged? I'll tell you why you're outraged, because you got nothing better to do. You got nothing better to do, and there's some people out there that will use this situation, of course, to gain subscribers on YouTube if they run a channel, or they put up posts on their Twitter account to gain attention and notoriety, and it's actually quite sickening and shocking. Nobody's excusing John Barrowman's behavior, but at the end of the day, his castmates have all said that there was never anything sinister in it. It was a kind of like a Jack the Lad kind of thing. And I know people have a problem with that nowadays. Jack the Lad, they don't like that kind of talk and stuff. But that's just the way some blokes are, right? There is nothing sinister in it at all. John Barrowman is not that type of personality. We've seen this fella on screen for years, right? We know what he's like. We've grown up with the man, right? Different shows. If you follow him on the social media, you get a glimpse into his life, right? He's like that in real life as well. He's just so out there, right? And there are people like that. There are people like that, and they shouldn't be knocked. They shouldn't, you know what I mean? Look, he knows his behaviour was bang out of order because he hasn't done it since. He's apologised to everybody on the cast that he upset, and now he's done it a second time. For me, this was a non-issue. And it kind of, do you know what though? This kind of distracts away from the Noel Clark stuff. Right now, that's what we should be all waiting to see if anything comes out of this, because it's going to be devastating. It's going to be devastating if this all turns out to be true. You know, it's going to have an impact, right? And John Barrowman, unfortunately, right now is being sucked into this, right? And he wasn't the only person, right? I got criticised for this, but people even seeing it for themselves. Why bring up a scene with Matt Smith's doctor if you're not trying to cancel him? It's exactly what you tried to do. And you sucked him into it as well because he slapped Clara's on the bum and he kissed a lesbian without consent, according to you. But yet Amy Pond did the same thing to the doctor. See, there's again, you are just finding everything. And then there are some out there that have used the recent incidents that have happened within the fandom itself, with some bloke out there doing inappropriate things or saying inappropriate things to women, to the Noel Clark stuff, using all of that and the John Barrowman stuff to come out and say there's an issue with men in the fandom. And, you know, you see Christopher Eccleston's comments that it's a bit of a boys' club and all of this rubbish. You know, it's a very dangerous, very dangerous. I don't think personally that John Barrowman should be going through all of this. I don't think it's warranted. I think he's as I said, he hasn't behaved like that since. So I'm happy with that. He's learned his lessons, you know. And as I said, if there is issues on other sets that he was on, but while he was on Doctor Who, he did what he was told. He was reprimanded for it. So I've no problem with that. And I don't think anybody should be targeting John Barrowman. Because if anybody has a problem with him, right, listen, the people that we should be listening to are his castmates that he worked with. And if any of them have an issue, and I mean a serious issue, and come forward and actually say, yeah, listen, I do have an issue with it, right? Then that's a different conversation for another time, and then we could talk about it. But not one has come out and said, yeah, listen, he was this bad. Yeah, he was that. Yeah, he should be reprimanded for it. But no, that's not happening. That's not happening. He's quite loved, believe it or not. Yeah, and people say, "Oh, you're giving him a free." Someone said to me in a few streams back when I brought this up that you're giving him a free pass because he's a gay man and all of this rubbish. It's nothing to do with that. He was reprimanded. He apologised twice. None of his cast members, they've all been joking about it for years. Right? And here's the thing as well, though, I'm going to say to all the people that are continuing to be outraged over this. Why weren't you outraged 16 years ago? Because everybody's known about this for years. People have known about John Barrowman's antics for years. Absolutely years. Now, does that make it right or wrong? That's a different question. But everybody has known for years. So why weren't there people outraged? Why hadn't cast members come out and said, yeah, he's disgusting, he's vile, he should be cancelled and all of this? But none of them did. So all it is outrage by certain YouTubers out there, certain accounts out there, trying to cancel Barrowman, when in fairness, you know, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of others out there are concerned, is that the man was reprimanded, apologised twice, 16 years ago, and then some people say he was made apologise again, but he came out and apologised. But one thing I will say about his apology is that compared to other apologies that you've seen out there from other celebrities when they get caught out on doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, his apology was sincere. I believe it 100%. And I still support John Barrowman, right? Because if none of his castmates are giving out about him and nobody has anything negative to say about it, because all of these people were joking about it for years, right? And just because Noel Clarke talked about it, right, in those videos, right, and you were trying to make the point, well, look how he talks about John Barrowman, just goes to show you how dirty he is. That was just a stretch, right? That was a stretch. You were just dragging those clips up because you knew exactly what you are doing, right? You have never liked, the RTD era. You don't like the Moffat era either, as well, because he gets accused of being sexist and all of that. You don't like these eras of Doctor Who, and you are using anything to try and have them removed. And that's what I believe. You are trying to cancel Doctor Who. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? We will deal with the Noel Clarke stuff when it all comes out. Apparently, evidence has been sent to the police, so we'll see what happens, right? Whereas for John Barrowman, it's absolutely ridiculous that he's being dragged into this and sucked into this when all these castmates have been for years joking about this and never had a problem. And for anybody out there that's outraged about John Barrowman, you really need to get a bit of cop on, because he didn't do those things to you. And if the people that he did it to have no problem with it and have been joking about it for years, well, then you have no right and you have no business to be outraged. It's just fakery coming from you because you just want to impress people out there, and you think that if you want to do something decent, well, why don't you expose the accounts out there that are actually, harassing and bullying people? Because as we have seen in the past, recent past, that this fandom is full of foul and disgusting people, right? So that's what you should be concentrating on, trying to make the fandom a better, safe place for everybody else, instead of going after an actor that was reprimanded 16 years ago, apologized twice, and cast members have no problem with it. If you have a problem with that, you're only fake outraging, as far as I'm concerned. The Barrowman situation is done and was dealt with. And the fact that they've removed him from Doctor Who Time Fracture, and I would say to the people behind that, why? How dare you as well? None of his castmates have come out and made any complaint against him. You had no business of removing him from something that Doctor Who fans have been waiting on ever since it was announced. And now you're going to take out one of the most vital components of Torchwood because of a few outraged little twats on Twitter and YouTube. You want to cop onto yourselves. I'm sick of BBC. I'm sick of all of these surrounding things with the BBC, bound to a couple of fans out there that kick up stink, right? Outraged over certain episodes because the writer made comments 7 years ago. Now we got this, right? Watch-alongs were recently cancelled because people were giving out. They literally went after David Tennant's character, John Smith, and his girlfriend called them, and and it was like the way they were talking about them, you think they were real people, trying to cancel that episode because they didn't like the racism in it. This is how ridiculous this fandom has gotten. And there are a few people driving this. I've seen it myself. I've kept my mouth closed for a certain amount of time. But I've seen a couple of videos today by someone that I don't necessarily get on with in recent times, but spot on in everything he was saying in his videos. These people need to be called out because it's fake outraging. It was dealt with. Get over yourselves, right? There's more important things going on, right? And look closer to home. And when I mean closer to home, I'm talking about the fandom, right? Because the fandom is infested with Tom Vance's. I know that for a fact, right? So that needs to be exposed. Toxic pieces of vile crap. They're the ones that need to be exposed. Going after an actor because of something he did 16 years ago, even though nobody has a problem with it, is baffling to me. Is that where we've come in society now? Is that we're going to just keep going back to someone's past and picking out something and try cancel them? Why? What satisfaction are you getting? What is it? I don't get it anymore. I don't get it. John Barrowman, as far as I'm concerned, is 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 issue is a non is done. It's done. He paid the price. He was reprimanded. You know, he's worked for the BBC since. He's worked for ITV. So, they would have known about this. Look, at this is what I hate about organisations as well, like the BBC and ITV. They pretend that they never knew anything about this, right? But they did. But they did, because everybody knew about it. Everybody knew about John Barrowman, including them. Do you think, right, if BBC didn't know, right, the song that they did, right, even though that was for RTD and Julie leaving, someone at BBC would have having to sanction that, to put it on the box set or whatever, and to show it. So don't tell me the line where they talk about John Barrowman's little Barrowman, that they didn't know at the BBC what they were talking about, right? They knew. So don't be giving me this shit. He was reprimanded, apologised twice. It's a non-issue, right? Don't be dragging him into it because Noel Clark may be a dirty little dog, right? Okay? Nothing sinister in it at all. Nothing sinister in it at all. I mean, it's like the time before I was born. There's photographs, right, of me dad's brother's wedding and the other brother got so drunk that he started doing a strip dance to bleeding what you call it. One of those songs, one of the songs that you strip dance to. You know when you're so he was taking his shirt off and spinning it around, and he stripped down into his underwear, right? And everybody in the photographs and stuff is breaking their bollocks laughing. Right? That's what the John Barrowman situation is. They were all there, yeah, they were all breaking their bollocks laughing. Yes, some of them might have felt uncomfortable at first, but they would have laughed it off. They would have laughed it off, but none of them came out and said, they've all come out and said something anyway by saying, well, John Barrowman, it wasn't sinister. He was larking about, he was joking. Right? They've all said it. So leave it out. Leave it out. And the fact that he's being removed from Time Fracture is disgraceful. There were rumours that he was supposed to feature in Series 13. That's not going to happen now. And the fact that he was in America anyway, none of it lined up. But, there was those rumours. But, if Chibnall did have ideas to bring him back later on, if he was staying on, well, then that's put that to the head. That's never going to happen. I don't think he'll ever feature in Doctor Who anymore. And that's sad because he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't. I just find this hard to believe. I really do. But these organisations, ridiculous. BBC, they're bound down to a few outraged twats again. What can I say? Ridiculous. There's people making more of the John Barrowman issue than there needs to be made of it. Simple as that. And there's a reason behind it. And you've got to ask yourself, what is the motivation for these people? Why are they doing it? Right? Because none of these, as I said, the people that he's worked with seem happy enough with him. Some have come out and defended him. And for me, as I said, he was reprimanded, apologised 16 years ago, apologised again recently because it came to the surface again. He shouldn't be losing work because of this. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's the society that we live in today. That's the way people think nowadays. If they don't get their way, they go find something from someone's past, and that's it. They try to cancel them, and you're seeing a lot of that lately. It's disgusting, I just don't know where it's just a complete mess now. It is. It's. I mean, that puts to bed any talk of Torchwood. as well right now. If they do that with Time Fracture, then there's no way they're bringing Torchwood back now. Um, so I hope there are people the people that are harping on about this are happy now. The ones that are trying to cancel him, I hope he's all happy now because he's got what he's wanted again. I don't know why BBC keeps listening to you, but there you go. They've clearly chosen a side and they're sticking to that side. But John Barrowman didn't deserve to be removed from Time Fracture. And if there was a chance of Torchwood coming back, that's done now. It's done now. Right. Well, let me know what you think. It's ridiculous. I don't think it's justified. Um, I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised. I did think I did think he'd be able to see his way through this because it is John Barrowman. But clearly, organisations like the BBC, uh, it just seems to me, even if you're accused of something now, they seem to be afraid and they'll just drop you without, listening to all the facts. Because we have all the facts on the John Barrowman stuff because it's been, as I said, it's been known about for years. So I mean, it's ridiculous. Um, but none of this would have, none of this would have, none of this would be an issue if we didn't find out about the alleged stuff. That no, I don't believe John Barrowman. None of this would have come back up again about John Barrowman at all. That's what baffles me about this. It's because Noel Clarke's situation now. Everybody thinks that they have to say something about John Barrowman. And listen, I was guilty of it at first when the stuff came out. I knew about it, but I didn't know the extent of some of the stuff. And to me, it was a bit. I did say it from day one. You know, it was inappropriate behavior. But when I found out he was reprimanded and stuff, I was happy. He did, you know what I mean? And then he came out and apologized a second time. I'm happy with it. So, I mean, listen, BBC need to be listening to the public. Yeah? Don't be listening to Twitter twats. Yeah? The rest of the British public, nobody has called for John Barrowman to be cancelled. I don't hear the public talking about it. John Barrowman is loved by the public. Right? And they remove him from Dancing on Ice. I know I think they've already filmed the series, so they're not going to cancel the series. So it's going to go ahead. But it'll be interesting to see if there's any complaints to Ofcom, right? And I guarantee you there won't be many, if there is any at all. John Barrowman is a much loved figure in the UK. And there's only a few people on Twitter that are outraged. And it's always the same Twitter mob. And then there are a couple out there that try to impress people, that are harping on, that don't have the life experience, that shouldn't be talking about stuff like this. At the end of the day, I'll say it one last time. He was reprimanded in 2016. No, 2008. 16 years ago. Right? He apologized then. None of his cast members have said it was sinister. They've joked about it for the last few years. Right? Then the Noel Clarke situation came up. John Barrowman got dragged into it. Now you are all out there fake outraging. He came out again and apologized. Again, a few of the cast members came out and defended him and said it was nothing sinister. There was nothing sinister in anything that he did. Okay? So he was reprimanded and he apologized twice. It's a non-issue. And if you're out there still talking about it, well then as far as I'm concerned, you're only looking for subs. You're only chasing subs and you're chasing followers on Twitter, and it's absolutely disgusting. And you want to take a long, hard look at yourself, because we all make mistakes in life. John Barrowman made a mistake 16 years ago. He was reprimanded for it, and he's never done it since on the Doctor Who set or on BBC Studios, as far as we have been told. So, and nothing's came out about it, by the way. Now, his behaviour on other sets, that's an issue for those people. But as far as we're concerned on Doctor Who, when he was reprimanded, he behaved himself, and I'm all right with that. So, you know, I just think it's sad that we've come this. I was watching Doctor Who earlier this morning. I actually watched the 50th anniversary again, and then we watched the Time of the Doctor, wasn't it? Yeah, and we just got a reminder of how great Doctor Who can be. As I said, over the years, I haven't been. I've kind of slowly gained to like the 50th, but this morning, for some weird reason, when I watched it, I was I was I was glued to the screen. Had a bit of a couldn't hold it together actually. Yeah. Sharon was beside me, so I was trying to act all macho and not look at her. But she was actually worse than me. So like, yeah, it was yeah. But we really enjoyed it. This is what's happening. As I said, I do believe they're trying to cancel. There are people out there. That's why they keep harping on about John Barrowman, because they are, you know, trying to cancel the RTD era, um, and you know they're trying. And the thing about it as well, you know, they're talking about on the same level as the Noel Clark stuff, and the Noel Clark stuff to me seems to be far more sinister than what I'm hearing and what everybody else is hearing compared to what people are saying about John Barrowman. And that's not fair, John Barrowman. Listen, I'm not going to stop watching Torchwood. John Barrowman is Captain Jack. He'll always be Captain Jack. And I won't stop watching the episodes that feature him in Doctor Who to a certain extent. I think he features with season 3. I can watch actually. He features in season 3. So I can watch him in that. But I'm not going to stop watching Captain Jack. Captain Jack, look, he was back in New Who. He was back in the Jodie Whittaker era. And here's the thing, guys, for all you out there that are so incensed about Barrowman, right? He was the one that kept the Whittaker era going. Twice he's appeared, 3 times now, isn't it? 3 times now he's appeared on the show. And every time the ratings have shot through the roof because he's turned up. They've gotten a bounce, right? So be careful what you wish for, right? Because he's part of the Whittaker era as well, right? I think a lot of you forget that. So if he's cancelled Barrowman, right, okay, then you are going to do damage to the Whittaker era too. Because you can't be hypocritical and give out about his time in the Russell T Davies era and then not criticise Chris Chibnall for bringing him back then, right? Because you'd be all hypocritical, right? But you are hypocrites. You are hypocrites. You are lucky to have John Barrowman around, to be quite honest. And we are so lucky to have him to play Captain Jack. And how dare you out there trying to cancel this man. And the fact that he's lost, I'm very disappointed now. And I've decided, you know, Time Fracture was something that I was looking forward to. I will not be entertaining the idea of even going to near this now after the decision that has been made. I'm not telling people to do the same thing, but that's certainly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to support something like this for the removing a character that I love because of a fake outrage out there. And it is fake outrage. It was dealt with, as I said, and he apologized twice. And nobody's giving him a free pass, but he apologized twice, but he's losing work for it. His cast members have come out and said nothing sinister. You know, they've defended him. And yeah, it's still not good enough. So you can kiss our Torchwood revival goodbye, because a lot of you were hoping for a Torchwood revival. That's not going to happen now. And if there was any future appearances for him happening on Doctor Who, that's not going to happen. So you shot yourselves in the foot there, because when he did appear in Doctor Who, the ratings went up. Now you have actually destroyed your chance to try save this show, because he could have featured in Series 13. He certainly would have featured later on if Chris Chibnall was still showrunner, because he's not stupid. He see the bouncer ratings that he brings, and he would have brought him back. But now that's all being put to bed now. So I hope you are all happy. Hope you are happy, which is our fake outrage. Disgusted by you all, to be honest. I'm disgusted by the people behind Time Fracture. I won't be supporting it. Torchwood, to me, people know where I stand with Torchwood. I'm a huge Torchwood fan. There was a time Jordan Torchwood's run and Doctor Who's run where I enjoyed Torchwood a lot more than I did Doctor Who at the time. So I'm a huge supporter of that show. And I'm disappointed now, because, there was talks of a Torchwood revival. And even though I said they have to get the main show right before they bring Torchwood back, I was still excited of the prospect of seeing John Barrowman back and the cast that he worked with doing Torchwood again. But now that's not going to happen again, because BBC listen to a few idiots on Twitter. They'd rather listen to them than listen to... I guarantee you, if you told the British public, you gave them all the facts of the John Barrowman situation, and you ran a poll, right? And the poll was to ask, should John Barrowman be removed from certain things? I can guarantee you that he would actually win that poll. The British public would get behind him. They love John Barrowman. I don't think the people on Twitter anyway that are complaining realize how popular John Barrowman is. And nobody's excusing his behavior. Everybody has said it's inappropriate. But just because we think it's inappropriate, if none of these cast members have made an official complaint, then who are we to be outraged about it? And why are you outraged about it? That's the question. And the simple answer is that some of you are just, you are drama queens. You just want to create drama. So, if you run a YouTube channel, it'll help your YouTube channel. If you run a Twitter account, it will help your Twitter account. That's the only reason why you're doing it. And there are a couple of people out there in the fandom that have been doing it for years. Even people I used to know. And I've been calling them out for years. I've been telling people about it. I'm glad that these people are finally showing their true colours to the fandom, because you can see now what it's all about, folks. You can see it's all fake. It's all fake. John Barrowman doesn't deserve this. He doesn't. And in response to that, I've decided that I'm going to actually do a Torchwood watch along. I'm going to do every single season the Torchwood, even season 4, even though I think it was a good idea. It's just the execution was a bit bad. But I'm going to do Torchwood. I'll pick a day soon, let you know. But I'm going to do Torchwood. I am not going to stop watching John Barrowman. I'm not going to stop enjoying watching the stuff that he's in. Because some people out there are outraged. Now, it'd be a different story. And of course, my opinion would change if the cast start coming out and saying, oh yeah, it was sinister. And it wasn't a nice environment and all of this. Then, of course, yes, but none of them have. They've all come out and supported them. So if they're happy, I'm happy, right? And the fact that BBC reprimanded him as well, I'm happy. He apologized 16 years ago, apologized again, and that's it. I'm done. And as far as I'm concerned, he's come out, he's apologized, he's done, he's done the right things, and his apology to me seemed to be sincere. Some have suggested, well, he only apologized when he thought he was being cancelled. That's a bit unfair to say, but of course people are going to come out and apologize when people start kicking up stink. I mean, John Barrowman is that type anyway. And if he did cause offence, trust me, John Barrowman would be feeling it more than anybody else, because he wouldn't like to think that he's actually really upset and hurt someone. That's John Barrowman's personality. We all know this. So I don't know. Look, again, as I said, this has been, everybody's known this. So the people that are complaining now, I'll say to you, well, why didn't you complain a few years back? Right? Because it resurfaced a few years ago as well, by the way. And everybody was laughing and joking about it. So why weren't you outraged then? Why were you, well, maybe you weren't born when he first did it, or you were only a kid when he first did it in back 16 years ago. Right? But at the end of the day, don't be outraged 16 years later because of someone else that might have done something while working on the show. Unfair to tar John Barrowman with the same brush, as far as I'm concerned. Well, listen, let me know what you think. I don't think he should be removed from anything. Very disappointed with the people behind Time Fracture. Absolutely ridiculous. I refuse to support it now. And again, BBC shouldn't be doing things like this, and the companies that are behind this shouldn't be doing things like this, because already merchandise and stuff connected to the show is already struggling. And as far as I'm concerned, they keep making the wrong decisions all the time. With the Noel Clarke situation, that's completely different. I would understand if they start pulling content that had Noel Clarke in it right now, because there is over 20 women that have come forward, and some of these women have said they have felt uncomfortable, and he has said sexual things towards them, and he's actually physically grabbed one of them on the leg, allegedly. So, that's the difference, right? That's the difference. People have come out and complained about that, and when it comes to shelving his stuff and distancing themselves from his stuff, you can understand that to a certain extent. Even though I always will say, you are innocent until proven guilty. But when 20 odd women come forward, it's very hard to kind of say that. But everybody is entitled to due process. The victims need to be listened to, and of course, then if Noel Clarke denies this, he has every right to defend himself. That's just the way the law of the land works. And again, that's why, the John Barrowman situation is a completely different story altogether. And I just don't get why this man. But BBC, but again, wrong decisions being made at the wrong time. As usual. So, I just don't get it. I mean, are BBC trying to kill this show, kill everything around it? Because if you keep listening to these people, there'll be nothing left. So, a bit of cop on. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm pretty sure it's going to be very lively. Because this is uncalled for as far as I'm concerned. And I've also noticed on Twitter, won't mention who it is, but I've seen there's a person that features very heavily on people's streams that has decided that they won't be streaming for the foreseeable future. I mean, again, it's just a whole mess. It's like you have an opinion that's different to someone else, and this is a constant thing. So I don't blame certain people out there that have just decided they've had enough. I think we all have with this fandom, to be quite honest. And there are certain people out there that really need to cop onto themselves, using. And again, I said it from the beginning, used in certain situations in this fandom. You know, we've seen some use the twist the Tom Vance thing to try use it to come out against all men. I showed you some of the posts. Now we see fans using this Noel Clark stuff to try cancel John Barrowman. Even poor Matt Smith was dragged into it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? The activists are loving every single bit of this because, you know, the ones out there that have been saying men are all toxic and, you know, the fandom is toxic because they're all the men in it and all this. We're all sexist pigs and all. You know, the Noel Clark situation has kind of, you know, set the fire to what they want. And now they're using it. And they are using it, by the way, because the sick people, they don't give a shit about victims out there. They all claim to give a fuck about victims. They don't give a shit about the victims. They're using this with their twisted mentality to come out against men. I've seen comments like 97% of women out there have been harassed by men in the Doctor Who fandom. Right? You hear one that works closely with Doctor Who magazine come out and say that her and all of our female friends, she didn't say a few of them, she says all of our female friends that she knows have been harassed by men out there. And I'm sorry, right? I don't give a shit what anybody says this is going to be controversial. It's bullshit, right? It's absolute bullshit, right? 97% of women out there are not being harassed by men, right? Am I saying that there's no harassment of women in fandoms? No, I'm not. There is. There is. I will admit to that. Of course there is. But to claim that nearly all the male populace are sex fiends and bullies and harassers is disingenuous. And for people using these situations for their own benefit, for their own little agenda, again, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves as well. Disgusting human beings you are. You don't give a fuck about the victims. You never have. And right now, you know, they should be the focus. They should be listened to. And of course, you know, I don't always give the press any credible fair play to the Guardian for investigating all of this. And we'll find out what happens in due course. But it has to stop. Has to stop. Real dialogue needs to happen within the fandom. And for all you women out there, just to let you know, this conversation cannot happen without men being part of the conversation, right? And it's not men saying, oh, well, we're going to tell you what to do or whatever, but men have to be part of this conversation. If you want to truly change the fandom, well, then we must be included in the conversation. If you have a problem with us, then we have every right to be part of the conversation, right? So this isn't a conversation for all these women groups to be having to conspire together to try push men out of the fandom, right? We have to come together now to make sure that it's a safe space for everybody. But men must be included in that conversation, right? Because we have seen in recent past times that men get excluded from certain conversations, even though it's about our gender, right? So, you know, if you want to, if we're going to really sort out the problems in the fandom, well, then there must be an open dialogue. But again, I will say this: you need to stop listening to the twats on Twitter, and you need to stop listening to these people that have YouTube channels that are on Twitter being twatty. You need to stop listening to them because they're the ones that are driving all of this. They from day one have tried to put a wedge in the fandom, right? They've come in, they've said that they love Doctor Who, but everything and every action that they've taken have showed us something completely different. They're trying to cancel something nearly every day now. It's become a regular occurrence. They'll find something else now pretty soon because that's how they operate, and then there'll be more drama in the fandom again. That's what they do. Right, well, I'm going to go now. So, as I said, I'll throw this up. And what did I say? The Web Planet is the classic Who episode. Hold on. Do you know what I'll do before we leave? I'll actually create the Web Planet. I'll just put it up real quickly. The Web Planet. Right. So that'll be the classic Who zone. Classic Who's Classic Who's So there you go. So the web planet is the Classic Who Zone story for Saturday this weekend. Come and join us. And then also we have Victory of the Daleks. That's the new Who coming up. And as I said, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Right, we're off. Have a good one. Talk to you all soon. Stay safe. And to all our pals in Israel, stay safe. Look after yourselves. I've been watching some of the footage. I have to say, man, scary. I couldn't. I'm being honest. I don't know how you do it as a people. I couldn't live like that with bombs, like and missiles over me head. The threat of it every day. But to everybody out there, stay safe. Look after yourselves, and let's hope it gets better, man. We keep saying that, but everything just keeps getting worse, doesn't it? But we hope that it gets better. 2021's a write-off anyway. We already knew that because we said 2020. Everybody thought 2021. Do you know there were some out there that thought 2021 would be better? Right? 2021 is worse than 2020. And I don't think it's going to get any better for 2022. Now that restrictions are lifting now, have you noticed that there's more fighting happening all of a sudden? So this is what's going to happen now. People have been sitting down for months, over a year, twiddling their thumbs. And now some people are trigger happy. And you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that, unfortunately. So don't expect 2022 to be any better. Listen, you'll be able to go out there. So just enjoy it and try and enjoy yourself. But if anybody thinks it's getting any better, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And that's true with everything. It does. Right, I'm off. Here's the trailer. See you later. Have a good one. Because the wife was whispering in the background. I'll keep telling her, like, if she has a problem with me streaming, she shouldn't be, like, whispering in the background because it kind of puts me off. It doesn't matter. I don't care if I'm ending on a down. I'm just telling everybody out straight, right? 2022 is going to be shit, folks. It's going to be worse. It's going to be extra woke. There's going to be more people cancelled, and there's going to be more wars. That's the fact of the matter, right? It's a 10-year cycle. It's going to happen again, right? If you've been around as long as I have, trust me, you see these things coming a mile away. But you know what the best thing about it is? Though? You can choose to ignore it all and enjoy your life. That's the thing. So if you choose to be a miserable bastard, well then, good on you. But I plan to get out there as soon as I can and enjoy myself. I don't give a shit. Like, look, if the world ends tomorrow, who gives a shit? It's that bad anyway. Do we even deserve to carry on as a society the way we're going on? Seriously. Do you know what? If there are aliens out there, right? I will end on this now. If there are aliens out there, do you think they'd actually come here now, listening to the bullshit that's on Twitter and all? Do you honestly believe that they would come to this planet? They would look at this planet, they'd look at the people and say, what a bunch of morons, right? And they'd fly by. Why would they want to come here, right? We can't even send a rocket into space anymore without it coming down on top of us. And you know what the funny thing is? We don't know where this rocket, has it even crashed yet?
Yes.
Oh, it has. They didn't even know where this thing was going to crash.
Crashed into the middle of the ocean.
Right, but it doesn't matter. They still didn't know where this thing, right? That's how stupid. We're going backwards. We've gone backwards. Technology's gone backwards, by the way. People think that we've gone forward in technology. We're actually going backwards. So is society. Look at the rules they're coming out with. They all, and you know what? They actually even prove it, because you'll see a lot of these people say, well, they had these kind of laws back in the early 1500s and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. You want to bring us back to times like that. So you're bringing society back. We're not moving forward. We're stagnating and we're moving backwards, right? That's what's happening. And it's disgusting. I thought we were cleverer than that. Even this country's gone twatty. Don't even want to be here anymore. Ireland's just gone as bad as the rest of us. Gone crazy with our bleeding banners and shit all over the place. Right? Can't walk down the road, man, and enjoy a burger. There's a big fucking cow. Fucking, oh, look at the slaughtered cow fucking poster. Who gives a shit? I want to eat a burger. Don't be making me feel guilty. If there's vegans out there, well then let them fucking eat a fucking vegetable burger. But don't be coming at me with your vegan shit and telling me I can't enjoy a meat burger. Right? Fuck off. I'm not telling you not to eat fucking plants. Right? Some plants are live. Right? They mash them up, put them into these fucking burgers. Right? Talk about me. Get away. Cheryl's laughing over there. Right? But I don't care. I know I'm making sense somehow. Right? She's dying to burst out laughing. But listen, no aliens would ever come here. Right? And you know the recent sightings, yeah, they're probably them checking out the planet and saying, oh, geez, we need to get out of here. Come on. Come on. Yeah. You know, we used to be intelligent as a species. But unfortunately, what happened is that a generation of us had kids. And then what happened is us. I don't know what happened to my generation, but it's mostly my generation that grew up with South Park that are the twat ones. Then them twats had kids, and now they've taught their kids all this twattiness. And now the next generation is going to be even worse. And don't worry, we'll be put into homes, and then as soon as we can't feed ourselves and can't go to the toilet, they will give us an injection, and that'll be the end of that. You know, it'll be like that episode of Sliders where there's no old people, because when they get to a certain age, right, they actually sacrifice their lives so the young people can, you know, thrive. So that's where we're heading, folks. Black Mirror and all that shit is happening. It's happening, folks. Right, I better go because this has turned into a bit of a conspiracy video, hasn't it? But for all you know, Clark, outraged Muppets out there, get a life, get a job, get a hobby, do something, but don't be how dare you? You've no right to be. He didn't do these things to you, right? And the people that he did do it to have no problem with it. They come out and supported them. So stop being a twat. See you later. Have a good one. Goodbye, good night, whatever it is. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. Here's the titles now. Don't forget the Web Planet, Victory the Daleks the weekend, and Friday, hopefully, Tarda Zone Talks. Have a good one, folks. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all of that. And, you know, as I said, we'll see you all soon. Have a good one.